Alright, beef heart. I've got 690 grams, something over 1.5 pounds of ox heart, which has been cut up. I've got this from Morrison's, which is a supermarket here in the United Kingdom, supermarket chain, and they are rather good for doing these rather nice variety meats. And ox heart, I mean, ox heart is just pure muscle. It's very good quality lean meat. There is some fat in it that comes off the heart as they cook it, but in the fat there's also quite a lot of flavour. The recipe, I'm going to work loosely around this idea of using Caribbean seasoning, lots of garlic and some onion, to marinate this overnight, and then I'm just going to bake it and then serve it in something like a Pitta bread or something like that. But you'll probably see from the thumbnail what I decided on, because you can see that before I can. So what I got here, I've got some ox heart, I've got 3 fat cloves of garlic, I've got about 1/3 of a medium-sized onion which I've chopped up into small dice. I've got some Caribbean seasoning, which I'll be using a couple of tablespoons of, I would think, and a little bit of salt, which I'll also use to season it. So we'll just get that all into this bowl, everything. And I'm going to roughly chop the garlic. There we go. Roughly chopped. I'll put the knife through it a couple more times just to get. But I like it kind of chunky, because the way I'm going to cook this, I'm going to cook it in a large pan, and just cook it until all the moisture's gone from it, and then it starts to fry again. And I think that's going to give us a nice textured, finished ox heart. So I'll just toss that in, all in, and that one, all in. So it's already cut up, it's done all the work for me. And into that I'm going to put in some of my Caribbean seasoning. So that's 1, 2 heaped. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to get in there and mix that in with my hands. If you're sensitive to hot peppers, I don't suggest you do. If you want to see what is in the Caribbean seasoning, there will be a link appearing up here right now, and it will also be in the description below, and that will be a link to my friend Taster Trini's Caribbean seasoning recipe. And that one must have missed the butcher's chopper somehow, so I took it out and chopped it up. And looking at that, I think that's just about right. So 2 heaped tablespoons of Caribbean seasoning into that, and then I think I'll put a pinch of salt in that as well. So first of all, I just want to clean up my hands. Oops, before I do that, I found another long piece. There is a Peruvian recipe for beef heart that's doing the rounds on the internet, and they just thread it onto little skewers and cook it, but they marinate it overnight with these lovely fairly mild chilies, garlic and onion. But I didn't want to go that route because somebody's already done that, and I thought, well, you know, let's just give this little recipe a bash and we'll see how it works out. So I'm anxious to see what that turns out like. I'm sure if you're still watching, so are you. So we'll leave that overnight, I'll just put a sprinkle of salt in that and then leave it overnight, and get back to you in the morning and show you what we're going to do with it. Alright, so here we are the next day, and my beef heart has marinated lovely, and you see the meat's gone so much darker as a result. And all I'm going to do now is transfer that over to this baking tray and spread it out. I'm going to make sure everything gets, oh, it smells great. I'm going to make sure everything gets spread out in there. And my oven is preheated to 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit. So I'm going to spread that out as thin as it'll go. Really, the thinner you can spread that out, the better. But let me just show you what I've got it to here. So it's kind of spread out thin like that. And I'll just lower any peaks and put them down into the spaces, so we end up with a nice flat tray like that. And really all the seasoning is already in that, and it's marinated overnight, so it should have tenderized the meat as well to some extent. And as it cooks, that fat will render off, and it will eventually all the moisture will come off it, and it'll start to fry again. So I'm estimating that's going to take around about 15 minutes, but I'll keep my eye on it. Okay, meanwhile we can get on with making the salad and a little, I've decided to make a mustard and garlic mayonnaise sauce to go with it. And I'll also be using some of my hot sauce. You can use sriracha sauce or sweet chili jam or anything you like, but I'm just going to make up this garlic and mustard mayonnaise. And to that end, I'll just chop up this this clove of garlic, and I'll chop up that fairly fine. I want that pretty finely chopped, just to make sure it's nice and seasoned as well. I'm just going to put a bit of salt on that and grind it up a little bit more. So just a little bit. So the salt not only seasons, but it also acts as an abrasive as I'm chopping up my garlic. There we go. And it teases the oil out of the garlic, so you get a lot of flavour out of it. I don't need to go too mad, just squash it up a little bit, and then that can go straight in the bowl I'm going to use for this. The next thing I want in there is going to be a bit of mustard. So what I'm using, English mustard, use whichever mustard you like, and so I'm using about a teaspoonful. Don't want a lot in there. And we'll get in a couple of tablespoons of mayonnaise. This is a Polish mayonnaise. Nice, rich and creamy mayonnaise, that one. And I think I'm going to need a little bit of vinegar in there. Let me just scrape all that off, because it's all good flavour. And we'll mix that in and we'll have a look at it. So we got the garlic, we got the mustard, and we got the mayonnaise. That's a little bit too thick for my taste for this particular application, so I'm just going to put a little drizzle of vinegar in it. And I'm going to use this just a tiny little splashette of this, I think this is cider vinegar. And yes, it is apple cider, because in Britain we only have cider, and if it isn't made of apples, I'm afraid it isn't cider. It's just a fruit wine of sorts. Right. Yeah, that's kind of nice and loose, and let me have a little taste, because I want a little, yeah, just that little taste of vinegar. It's pimped it up, and already I can taste it's working with the mustard and the garlic. I'm going to set that aside, because that's going to improve over the next few minutes, and then we can start making up our salad. So what I've got for the salad, what I've got here is a little gem lettuce, which is aptly named because it's gorgeous lettuce. I'm not terribly fond of iceberg lettuces. I don't really think there's an awful lot to them. They've got a fairly nice crunch, but that's about it. I've got that much cucumber, which I've halved again. I've got a slice of carrot. Carrot goes fairly well with beef. I've got this nice Moroccan red, fairly mild chili pepper, which is going in my salad. If you don't like it hot, or if you're worried about the chili pepper, just leave it out. Don't bother with it. All right. I've got a nice bit of red pepper here, which I've just, which I'm going to slice up fine. And I've got a tomato, and I've got a lime, which I think will go rather nicely as a dressing along with the mayonnaise and the hot pepper sauce. Right. Okay, so for hot pepper sauce, you can either, I'm going to use my own, or you can use some sriracha sauce, or you can use some sweet chili sauce, sweet chili jam, or whatever hot pepper sauce you like. I'm going to use some of my own Caribbean hot pepper sauce. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll just take the base off that, break it apart. I don't like cutting lettuce very much, and I'm just going to break that up and drop it in to my bowl, like that. Likewise with that little beauty. So there we are, nice little gem lettuce. Any larger pieces you can just tear up. So I prefer to tear it rather than cut it. Into that I'm just going to put a few slices of nice red pepper, because that goes nice with beef as well, doesn't it? So it doesn't have to be too posh. As with the cucumber, so it'll make a nice little fill-in for your pita bread. And I have chosen pita breads for this. These are just white pre-made pita bread. I'll just toast those up, and then we'll use those. But if you've got some sort of wrap, if you've got some tortillas, or if you've got some chapati or something like that, or even naan bread, it would be rather nice for this. And just wrap everything up in it. And again with the onion, I like onion, raw onion, whenever I use beef. Of course, if you don't like raw onion, leave it out. You know, nothing here is written in stone. My videos are more about encouraging people to cook and to get the feel of cooking, rather than have to follow recipes all the time. You know, just go with just chance it. You know, you're not gonna get hurt, and you only stand to learn something by trying. You know, that's the way I see it. Right, that can go in. So we're getting ourselves a nice little salad together here, aren't we? With the tomatoes, I like to just half them that way, and then put a few cuts along the back, so you end up with nice pieces like that. There you go, that goes in. So with that, what I do is I just take shavings off it with the carrot. Too simple, isn't it? Check it out. And then turn it on its side, and then you just end up with that little core, which is rather sweet and nice to chew on. So just keeps flipping it around until you've got all your shavings off. And that's why I like these speed peelers, they're so useful. Yum. It's a chef's privilege, you get to eat the core. And that can go in my salad. So that's a nice little thing. My lime, I'm just going to cut just that piece off there, spin it around, and cut that piece off there, and they're for dressing. And this bit, that can go into the over the salad, which will give it a nice dressing. then I'll do my chilli, I think. And like I say, if you don't like it too hot, leave out the chilli altogether. And if you're doing chilli, you've also got the option of taking out the seeds and the pith on the inside, because that's where a lot of the heat is on the chilli. And so what you can do then is just shred that up. My brother and I enjoy the flavour of chilli. We enjoy the piquance of it. So we like it, we'll incorporate it. If you don't like it, don't you bother. So that all goes in, and then I'll bring that back and give it a nice toss. So get in there, nice little salad. So because we're cooking beef, I think the tomato and the onion are kind of nice in that. Of course, if you don't like it, don't do it. And if you prefer your onion cooked, why not fry them and then throw them in the salad? See what I mean? You can get creative. And then what I'll probably do with that, I might give it a little drizzle of olive oil just before I start putting that in the pita breads. Right, the pita bread, I think I'll just toast these. You can also bake them on a tava, a flat griddle, or a flat iron, or a dry saucepan, a dry frying pan. But I just pop these in the toaster, and then they come out pretty good. Alright. Oh wow. So we're looking at that, what, 15-20 minutes later, and you'll see it's sizzling, and it looks like that's pretty much all cooked through, so I would say that's ready to go. So I'm just going to move that to one side and do my pita breads, and then we'll start filling them, hey? So you can always put it in a little longer if you prefer, it's up to you, but I like the meat still with a little bit of juiciness left in it. So here we are, nice pita breads. I've just put them simply in my toaster, and all I'll do is I'll go just inside the bread and make pockets out of them, which is fairly easy to do. And so you've just got yourself a nice little pocket. I'll do that with both of these, and then open that up to see a nice little pocket. I'm going to use my own hot pepper sauce. In fact, I think I'll decant that. Make it a little bit easier to make the kebabs up. There we go. So I don't need too much, because it is a fierce one, that. But you can use any pepper sauce you like for this. Alright, so the first thing I want to do in there is get in a little bit of pepper sauce, as much as you like, or as little as you like. In some garlic mayonnaise, paint that along the inside. That's garlic and mustard mayonnaise. Then in with a little bit of salad, like that. And we give it a topping of the meat, so it's a bit like street food. And then a bit more salad on top, and maybe a little drizzle of mayonnaise on top as well. How does that look? Yummy. Right, I'll just do one more, show you how I did it. Into the pocket, bit of hot sauce, hot pepper sauce, garlic mayonnaise, bit of salad, generous amount of beef heart, give it another scoop of that. So don't forget, this has got the Caribbean flavours on it as well, so And then onto that a bit more salad. And maybe a blob or two more of mayonnaise. So there we have it. So that's fairly simple, you'll see, and you can do this with just about any meat. So you can marinate some pork or some chicken or some turkey with some Caribbean seasoning, some onions, some garlic, leave it overnight, and then just throw it into a roasting tray and bake it at high temperature. And you can end up, after wrapping it in something like a nice bread like that, or with and with some salad, you can turn it into a pretty delicious meal or a super snack. Enjoy. Hey friends, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you would like to follow my channel, please subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications for all my future videos. It would be great to hear from you in the comments, and I'll try to get back to as many of you as possible. You may wish to check out these titles or even help me out with a donation using the links in the description below the video. Thanks for watching.